time for our big board. And we're going to get right to it with Dan Abrams here at the desk with us for our first story. And let's start with that bombshell Google lawsuit accusing the company of encouraging employees to spy on each other and silencing complaints with their confidentiality agreement. And Dan, a lot of companies have confidentiality agreements. What's the difference in this one?
Well, look, I've read through the lawsuit, and it seems that the confidentiality clause here is pretty similar to confidentiality clauses you'd have in a big technology-based company. What the plaintiff is saying that may or may not have merit is that the way Google's enforcing it effectively becomes a situation where you can't talk to your spouse, you can't talk to your attorney. They have an in-house spying agency, they say, that makes sure people don't rat on each other. So that's going to be the question here, is whether that's actually true, because the claim that this confidentiality agreement is so fundamentally different than others, at least based on what I've seen, doesn't really hold water.
In fact, Dan, Google issued a statement to ABC News saying this: the suit is baseless. Our employee confidentiality requirements are designed to protect proprietary business information while not preventing employees from disclosing workplace concerns. How difficult will this case be to prove for the plaintiff?
Yeah, it's not an easy case. The first thing that the plaintiff's going to have to overcome is what's called a motion for summary judgment. It means Google's going to say this case ought to be thrown out. There should be no jury in this case. And as a legal matter, Google's going to say it should end now. If the plaintiff is able to survive that, then there's a shot here. But that's going to be the most important hurdle for the plaintiff to overcome now.
Now, if you're an employee and you want to complain about senior management, legally speaking, how safe is it for you to speak up? And how smart is it for you to speak up?
Well, look, if the complaint is, I'm not getting a promotion and I'm better than the guy next to me, and that's frustrating for me that I'm not getting promoted.
Keep that to yourself.
Yeah, I'm just going to maybe tell that to your colleagues and your friends, you know.
Tell that to your wife, your spouse.
Exactly. But if the complaint is that my boss is engaging in illegal conduct, in discrimination, et cetera, anything like that, all major companies now are set up such that there should be a way to safely report that to an HR department and be able to tell them what's happening and not suffer any sort of retaliation. And if that ever happens, that's when you got yourself a lawsuit.
All right, Dan, thank you for that. Next up, it is movie time, and the biggest week of the year for movies. It kicks off tomorrow. A slew of new films hitting the big screen in a battle for the box office, all hoping to dethrone the runaway hit Rogue One. Larry Hackett is here with more. I say good luck on that one. But Larry, it's setting up to be a record-breaking year once again. So what's the big storyline here?
Well, it is. You're absolutely right. We're at about $10.7 billion right now. The record was last year's record at 11.2. I think we're going to beat it. And the reason we're going to beat it, in addition to ticket prices going up, is the success of family movies. You have pictures like Sing, which is opening this weekend, obviously Rogue One, Moana, the #1 movie of the year, Finding Dory. All of these pictures are what saved the bacon of Hollywood. Back in June, there were stories saying that they thought this year was going to be one of the worst years ever. Instead, once summer hit and these family movies hit, there are 4 of the top 6 movies of the year. That's why Hollywood is doing so well this year.
Well, Larry, you just named so many movies. There are so many choices. I mean,
they really are.
So what are the hits and what are the misses, in your opinion?
Well, let's look at this weekend alone. You've got Sing coming out, which I mentioned already. It's from the same people that brought you The Secret Life of Pets, which is one of the top 5 movies of the year. It's got good reviews so far. I think that's the kind of pictures people are going to want to take their family to. That's number 1. Number 2 is Passengers, which is, testing okay. The reviews have not been great. I think the real issue here is whether or not Jennifer Lawrence can carry a movie on her own. Remember, she was obviously the heart of the Hunger Games franchise and the David O. Russell's pictures that got her an Oscar. Whether that she can carry it on her own will remain to be seen. The third is Assassin's Creed, which is they're hoping to become a franchise. It's based on a video game, so you know who that's aimed at. It's the young guys and the video gamers and all of us. And the picture I'm most looking forward to opens on Christmas Day, and that's Fences. It stars Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. It's based on the August Wilson play. It is absolute Oscar bait. You can be almost assured that Denzel and Viola Davis will get nominations. And it looks like a really beautiful movie. It's testing through the roof. The critics love it. So we'll see how that does. That's what I'm looking for.
You just made me. I'm going to go see that.
I think Denzel directed that movie as well.
That's correct. He did direct that movie.
Yeah,
it looks great.
All right, Larry Hackett, thank you so much. Dan, thank you.
Good to see you guys.
See you at the movies.
Rogue One is the one I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see it.
You know,
I'm going to end up seeing 4 or 5 movies.
Yeah.